Aloha, everyone. My name is Stephen Spinelli Jr., and this is the Chair Podcast with
Steve Spinelli, president of Babson College.
Let's get right into it. How are we doing today?
We're doing good. I'm having fun.
Nice, there you go.
Or at least interested in life.
Busy day today?
Yeah, I don't have many that aren't.
Yeah, that's good.
I probably need to have a few unbusy days. I guess that's what holidays are for.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time, first of all, to do this interview with me. I really appreciate it. I mean, it's been in the works, but now to finally do it is...
Well, I love your innovative thinking and your creation of a brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a brand is a promise. And so you're saying, this is my personality, and I promise to do something with this personality.
Yeah.
And you're shaping that. I really like it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, the first thing I got to ask you is, what do you think about getting with your hair today? Or what do you usually tell your barber right now?
You know, I have so few hairs that they're very precious.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting you to do a good job.
Okay.
And I have so little, it is almost always in the sort of under the title of a trim.
Under the title of a trim.
So,
Gotcha.
you know, sort of neaten it up off the ear, make it as
just neat, clean.
Yeah, not conspicuous. I don't.
Yeah, we're not doing
not a lot of hair here to have fun with. So just,
awesome.
Yeah, clean it up.
Clean it up. Gotcha. Where do you usually go around here for a haircut?
There's a couple of places. There's actually whoever is available in Wellesley. There's 3 different places I go to, and I frankly, this might be the first time I planned a haircut in 10 years.
Really?
Usually I wake up and I say, damn, I need a haircut. And I find a place.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I said, no, I got it scheduled. This is good.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're just going to take a little bit off the sides. Just keep it nice and neat.
Yeah.
Kind of round it off on the bottom. Just edge it up nice. I think we should be all ready to go. All right. This is what we're looking like for the before. So the first question I'll ask you is, what is your name and what do you do?
Well, my name is Steve Spinelli, and what I do is create value.
What do you mean by create value?
Well, there are a lot of different roles you play in life. You're a father, you're a husband, you're a grandfather, you're a business person, you're an investor, you have a job, you're president of Babson College. And you look at that through a lens, and it says that role should do something, should end up with something. Yeah. So for me, the grand or the consistent model is, how do we create value in that role?
Oh, I see. What do you think is the most important role in your life to bring value to?
Well, you know, if I take a role, it becomes important to me. I would be disingenuous if I didn't tell you that the family is, and frankly, in particular, the grandchildren, is the most important. But I think it extends to sort of all relations, and in particular, my wife and children.
Nice. So how did you get to the position you are today? What was your startup? Where are you from? Kind of that backstory.
From Springfield, Mass, Western Massachusetts, about 90 miles. It's actually 89.5 miles from Babson is where I grew up.
Really?
I know that because I was a part-time MBA for 7.5 years. Wow. And I drove from Springfield to Babson every Thursday for 7.5 years to get my MBA. 7.5
years?
Yeah.
Wow.
One course a semester I took.
Holy cow. What were you interested in when you first got here?
Oh, there was no, I was, as an MBA, you know, clearly business. Yeah. Babson, clearly business. But I was in business. We were in the Jiffy Lube business, very small, with great ambitions. Didn't know enough to know what I didn't know, but believed in education and believed it was a route to bigger, better success and some clarity and some skills. And so I looked around for a college that taught entrepreneurship.
Could you tell me a little bit more about what you mean when you were in the Jiffy Lube industry? I know I've read a little bit about your story for the people that are watching today.
A couple of years after college, my college football coach, who was a terrific entrepreneur, a guy named Jim Hindman.
Jim Hindman.
Yeah.
Nice.
He made a lot of money in a lot of different businesses, in particular the nursing home industry, but a lot in real estate. And he was an investor and He's a very classic entrepreneur, driven guy.
Yeah.
Worked 100 hours a week. Made a lot of money. Went into coaching. Became the coach at McDaniel College. I played there.
Wow.
And he said, I think you have some raw talent. Why don't you come work for me? Mm-hmm. I went to work for him in the nursing home business, which was an incredible, intense environment. After a couple of years, there were 3 or 4 of us that he had hired, and he said, let's go do something together. We found a little operation in Ogden, Utah called Jiffy Lube, a few stores. Yeah. And we said, if you can make money in Ogden, Utah, what could you do in Boston, Massachusetts, where there's a lot of cars? He asked me to move to Ogden, Utah. So we moved to Ogden, which was, for a boy from Springfield, Mass, to move to Ogden, Utah was like a different planet.
That must have been a big switch.
It was, and I just got married.
Oh, wow.
So even the whole, my wife had to be up for a big adventure in that.
What do you think he saw in you? Or what do you think was the drive to make him say, I see value in you? Because that's a big thing. I mean, you saying he just gave you a lot of money right off the rip. What built up to that?
Yeah, I've always believed that playing sports reveals character. I think it helps build character and you learn, but I think it reveals character. Yeah. And some talent and mostly, frankly, characteristics that could be shaped and maybe transferable to business. Are you tough? Can you get punched in the nose and get back up? Do you run sprints hard or do you not? Yeah. Are you a good teammate? Do you understand winning versus losing? Are you resilient? Do you come back from a loss? Nobody's undefeated. Yeah. And I think he saw some of those things with all the guys. He recruited 3 of us. Wow. And
in terms of the business or for football?
In terms of the business, they were all off the football team, and he said, we should do something together. I think you guys have some basic talent that he could shape.
Was he in business himself?
Yeah, the nursing home business.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of other businesses. He was a real entrepreneur. Tough as a nail. If you're in a bar fight, you'd want to be with him. you'd want him on your side.
Definitely.
But worked 100 hours a week. Was very inspirational and very aspirational. Yeah. Green and growing or ripe and rotting. He believed you got to go forward. There was one direction for Jim Hyndman, and that was forward and up.
Dang. Tough guy.
He was tough.
I see.
He had great expectations. If you, he invited bunches of people into different businesses from time to time, and you either performed or you got canned.
Oh, dang.
Wasn't a lot of...
no second chances.
Not a lot of second chances with Jim. He was tough.
What made you make that leap to trust him and be like, I'm going to go for it?
Well, he had first hired me to be in the nursing home business. Yeah. And so I moved to Baltimore, and I was first to Baltimore. I had one in Baltimore. I was an assistant administrator there. I didn't know anything about the nursing home business. Yeah. And he said, work 24 hours a day and learn. We did well there, and he had a problem in a nursing home in Clinton, Iowa. So I moved to Clinton, Iowa. We did well there, and he had a problem there. We fixed it. Mostly just working hard and making simple decisions. Yeah. But he was demanding. We met the demand, and he said, I think you passed the test. Now let's go do something special. That's what we did Jiffy Lube.
What'd you do at Jiffy Lube?
The first thing was to go out. We did a strategic plan. You were pretty disciplined about those kinds of things. Yeah. We did a plan, and we said, it's a couple of stores in Ogden, Utah. What do we really want to do? And Jim was a lot about the high potential venture and scale. So can we do something big with this? We don't want to just operate a Jiffy Lube. We want to do something big. And what does that mean? The name was Jiffy Lube. We bought it. We started a company doing business as Jiffy Lube. We started a company called Jiffy Lube International. And we had a couple of stores in Utah, and we called ourselves Jiffy Lube International. It was a signal that we're going to do something, that this was going to scale, at the very least, was going to be a national or international phenomenon. So right from the beginning, Jim taught about thinking big. Yeah.
What do you think, what is Jiffy Lube's business model that really got it to the scale that it is today? And for people that don't know, what is a Jiffy Lube?
Yeah, Jiffy Lube is a lube, oil, and filter, check and fill, a differential, a transmission, a brakes, battery, power steering, fill the windshield washer, fill the vacuum interior, properly inflate the tire, all in 10 minutes with no appointment.
Did you guys catch that? That was you. Oh, you've been practicing that one.
You know, I don't think I've said that in 10 years.
How long you been? How many times you had to rehearse
well, you
that?
know, I was in the Jiffy Lube business for 14 years, and I probably said it 100 times a day for 14 years, selling like crazy. You got to remember, this was at a time where you had gas stations, and you had to make appointments, and it cost a lot of money, and they put you up on lifts. You had to lose the car for the day.
Yeah.
And we said 10 minutes in and out, one price.
Was that how the original business model was?
That was the original bit, and that was the stores we bought. And my job was to go out to Ogden, Utah, and work in the stores. I'd work in the stores from 8 to 6, and then from 6 to 10 at night, I would write the operations manual. What did I learn? How do we document this business model? What's good? What's bad? I took pictures. I did all that. Did that for a year to put together the operating model, and then we made a decision to franchise it.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we're going to capitalize and go big.
How do you identify possibility and like how do you chase that? This is what Jiffy Lube's business model is. This, I see an opportunity. What were the steps in between that made you say, okay, this is possible and we should go for it?
Yeah, you know, we did the sort of logical work around it. So, you know, how many cars are there in the United States? How often do they change the oil in the car? You know, times $20, what's the size of the market?
Yeah.
And you have we had somewhere in the vicinity of 150 million cars changing oil 3 times a year. It's 500 million oil changes times $20 is a lot.
Yeah.
And who owns that market? Who do you think owned that market then? Who was the dominant player in the oil change market?
I'm not too sure.
That's what the answer we had. So there was clearly a highly fragmented market. So you've got no one that owned a gazillion dollar market. Well, that says let's go build a brand. If the 10-minute no appointment one price works, why wouldn't it? If it works in Ogden, Utah, we had stores doing really well in Ogden, Utah. Why wouldn't it work in Boston? What are and so we started to say we could grow this, and that the demand was ubiquitous, was at least everywhere in the United States and maybe everywhere in the world. You start thinking about that and you start saying, man, that's a huge market.
Yeah. How was that feeling when you first, by that time, were you a millionaire? Yes or no?
I wasn't I don't think I had a positive net worth. I had.
So how was that feeling?
Student loans.
Yeah, you were paying that off hustling?
That's all I had. I literally had a negative net worth now that you bring it up.
Really? Wow.
So yeah, I had enough income to pay my debt. Yeah. But I had a negative net worth.
How did you keep on pushing towards a dream even though financially you felt like, maybe you didn't feel that way? But.
You know, it was, I was tired of being poor. I will say there was no confusion in my mind. I wanted to make money.
Oh yeah.
I saw people with money and I lived without money, and I could tell it was better to have money. It was not the most brilliant conclusion, but it was clear.
Yeah,
I had to do that.
Yeah.
So when we capitalized, we got some founder shares. I borrowed money from my in-laws, and we had a few dollars in the bank, got a loan, borrowed some more money, and became an equity partner in the deal. And I would take bonus. We had a bonus plan. I would take my bonus in shares because I believed in capital gain and I believed in the company. Yeah. And I said my job is to build net worth. As long as I can take care of the basic needs of the family. At that point, me and my wife, that's all I cared about for current income. It was all about building net worth.
Wow. How was that feeling when you finally achieved that financial freedom?
Thrilling.
Yeah.
Out of my mind, happy. Almost unreal. A Spinelli's Independence Day. It was fantastic. Yeah. Even all these years later, it evokes beautiful feelings.
Dang. What do you think would be the biggest motivator that drove you to constantly keep chasing that success?
I think there were many. I was going to say 2, but there are more than 2. I think not having money is an incentive to go get money. So, being a little hungry, I had terrific parents. We never starved, but we never had money. We really didn't have money. You hand-me-down shoes, all of that kind of stuff. So you learn the constraints. When I was little, I'm not sure I understood, but the older I got, and by older, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you start saying, wait a minute, this money thing makes a difference. We got a really beat up old car, and we've got used clothes, and we live in a very modest home. Wow, we can't go out. I didn't go out to eat until I was probably 15 years old because we couldn't afford to go out and eat. So all of that stuff said, wait a minute, there's something to this. You get rewarded for creating value, and that store of value can improve your life, and it's pretty cool. So it was natural.
Yeah. When you found that value and finally achieved that goal, what was inside of you that made you still hungry to pursue more value? Because a lot of times people can succeed and feel like they've made it to a certain point, but what separates you from other people that are?
I don't know that it does. Part of it is quirky, and part of it is ego. Part of it is a value system. I like working.
Nice.
I like being successful. I like competition. I understand that losing is sometimes is a part of the game, and so I don't like to lose, but I'm not discouraged by a loss, or I'm sometimes discouraged, but I'm not paralyzed by a loss. I'll keep going. In all of those lessons I learned over time, and the fulfillment issue is terrifically important.
What do you think was your biggest loss or biggest struggle, and what did you learn from that?
What an interesting question that is. I don't know that I could point to one specific incident. But the biggest lesson, and then I'll go back to why there were losses as a part of that, was that I don't care who you are, life is a non-linear progression. There are ups and downs, there are successes and failures, there's joy and there's pain, and you have to have some guts, and you have to embrace life fully to really appreciate the gains. And so I was just got a little bit more resilient about it. I've learned a lot from the losses, maybe even more than from the gains. The key was keeping going, but that wasn't important. That's the big lesson, is to keep going.
Who do you think was your biggest mentor during your entire journey?
There's no question it was Jim Hyman. My business mentor was Jim Hyman. He was, again, tough as a nail, demanding as you could imagine, and just a great mentor and an inspiring guy. I had a lot of really important people, including my parents, including my wife, who play a role in inspiring and teaching and mentoring and supporting and all of that. I've been very lucky with teachers and coaches. I had a tremendous teachers at Babson, a guy named Jeff Timmons, who I think of him as sort of the godfather of entrepreneurship education.
He was your teacher?
He was one of my teachers, and just a mentor. A guy named Bill Bygrave, who I think is one of the smartest people I've ever met, was a teacher at Babson. Had a Ph.D. in business and a Ph.D. in physics. Really, and a super guy. My Ph.D. supervisor, Sue Burley, I think is a genius, and a genius that knows how to take knowledge and put it into practical application more comfortably and clearly than anyone I've ever met. And she's a mentor, still is. I love her to death. So, team of mentors.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the importance of a team. I mean, what do you think of the terms like self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire?
I think it happens when you buy a lottery ticket and you win the lottery ticket, maybe. Maybe you're self-made then, but even then there's... I guess I don't really believe in it. I might be able to find an example or two, but I think for most of us, it is about teams, and it is about community, and it is about friends. And it is about competition, and it is about winning and losing.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? So after Jiffy Lube, what was your next step or next area?
That's when I decided to go into academia. And I decided, we sold Jiffy Lube, and we weren't worried about the next meal.
Yeah.
And so we moved to England. Had 2 little kids then. My wife and I and the 2 kids moved to England, and I did my Ph.D. in England. Because I said, if I'm going to be a teacher, I want to do it at the highest level. I want to really understand what research is. I really want to understand what the terminal degree means.
Yeah.
I want to go through a process. I want to get a job teaching. I want to get tenure. I want to understand this right from the core and all the way through it, and had a ball doing that. And then got a job at Babson as a professor at Babson.
Wow.
So I was a professor of entrepreneurship at Babson for 14 years.
What did you learn about people during your time in the business world? I mean, still is.
Yeah, that diversity is an unending fountain. that there are no 2 people that are really alike, and that it's an interesting almost conundrum. No one is. There's no 2 people exactly alike, and most people have commonalities, and it is finding what is common to bring us together, and then what is different to make us special.
Awesome. What do you think your strong suit is? What do you think your skills that allow you to expand and see opportunities? What do you think your strong suits are?
I learn well. I learn well, and I was taught to take that understanding to scale. Jim Heinemann created a pair of glasses for me that says, see everything through the lens of, is there a bigger problem that you can solve? Scale is where I think I excel.
What do you see now that you think isn't being utilized or could be scaled to an extent where there's an opportunity?
Well, I'll tell you, the second biggest deal I ever did was Planet Fitness. Joined the board there, and there had been, you think about the 2 businesses, 2 of the businesses I've been in. Changing oil has been going on forever.
Yeah.
And, working out forever.
Yeah.
So it was innovation around an existing market demand that could be applied in an effective economic model across a broad audience. That's what we did with both of those. But frankly, it is what we are doing at Babson. We have expanded entrepreneurship education. The reason I came to Babson as a MBA student, it's the only place I could find that taught entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Because of Babson, everybody teaches entrepreneurship. We have scaled intellectual capital I think Babson has impacted the globe and has for 30 years in our study of entrepreneurship, and we got to keep that going. I think Babson has solved a lot of problems through a network of understanding based in entrepreneurship education. That's pretty cool.
Dang. I mean, coming from Hawaii, I remember when I was first taking a look at Babson, the first thing I was introduced to was that term entrepreneurship. And growing up in Hawaii, I found myself always trying to find a problem to solve, always interested in solutions and things to solve. When I was doing my college research and I saw Babson, that was like the #1 thing that drew me in. And now being here today, it's just an incredible thing to see that everybody around us is solving problems.
Yeah.
Everybody at this school has something they're working on to positively impact their community, the people around them. And it's just like, it's that innovation that makes Babson as a community so powerful, I believe.
I think so too. And when you think about how a Babson graduate scales their understanding through the creation of organizations and impacts on markets and communities, our 45,000 or 46,000 alums are affecting tens, hundreds of millions of people, and I think improving their lives. Definitely. What a great organization. This is the best scaling operation I've ever been a part of. I think it is amazing.
If I were to put you in my shoes in today's age, what would you be doing now? Maybe it's different, maybe it's the same thing, to optimize the amount of skills or learning opportunities you could get out of Babson?
I'm not pandering to you, but I would use technology, I would deliver a unique perspective through the use of technology to reach broad audiences. And I would try to build a relationship with those audiences to take the knowledge I get from the classes and the projects and the experiences at Babson and get a better understanding of the impact of that knowledge through the connection that you're making with people through this, through your program here. You have a unique approach, in essence, delivering units of learning. You're asking questions, you're probing around issues. Now, you're using technology to do that, both in the capture of the data and the delivery of the data to audiences. What's the business model? You know, we had a little bit of discussion earlier.
Yeah.
What's the business model, and how do you monetize that? Because if you don't monetize it, you're not going to be able to sustain it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think for me right now, that's something I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it just the haircutting that I want to focus on, or is it the value within conversations like these where I can really benefit from, or to bring value to others in sharing that? I mean, I've been a storyteller all my life, picked up a camera when I was so young on my dad's little VHS, and I see the power in conversation and people. So it's just figuring out the medium that I want to share that in and putting it on a platform that can bring value to other people, going along those lines, I'd say.
Yeah, I would encourage you to think of yourself as a communications medium, or a teacher, or a gatherer of data, or disseminator of data. You've got a unique sort of approach. Now, how do you turn that into a business model?
Yeah.
And I would encourage you to have that discussion with professors and colleagues and classmates. What is the business? And frankly, this may be a little old school. I'd write a lot of stuff down, and I'd start to map out this business plan.
Yeah. I think from my question to you is, what do you think are the biggest difference in the term entrepreneurship back in your day versus mine's today?
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship was small business startups back in the day I was. So can I start a little business? And it was almost synonymous with small business, but a new small business. Today, I think it is about the high potential venture. I think it is about how I can either start or transform business models to reach massive markets and solve big problems.
Yeah. I see. Wow. I didn't even think about it like that. There's probably so much differences that you see today. How do you ensure that Babson as president of the school, how do you ensure Babson moves towards the innovation that's constantly changing, making sure it's up to date with what entrepreneurship means in the modern age?
Well, I think the biggest responsibility is to support the faculty. We've got over 200 really brilliant scholars and teachers and practitioners. Babson has a great respect for practitioners. A lot of schools think, if you don't have a Ph.D., you can't teach here, or you're not bringing value. At Babson, we have a very diverse set of lots of different people.
Yeah.
And my job is to support them. Make sure they have the right resources, make sure that we're supporting it with the right marketing, with the right infrastructure, with the right capital, and to manage to a high level of performance. Making sure that we make promises to students, and that's really what we're doing.
Yeah.
That we keep the promise and we put you on a trajectory for a great career.
I see. For the people watching that don't know anything about Babson, how would you describe it to them in terms of the type of area it is, the type of people you'll be surrounded with?
Yeah. Usually, one of the ways my wife and my son are musicians. And both went to either teach at or went to a music conservatory.
Wow.
So I say that Babson is the business equivalent of a music conservatory. So you have at any given time about 4,000 people who are doing business. It's like 4,000 people coming together to make great music. We make great business. And so that like-mindedness carries deep into the future, and 45,000 people have been trained and are driven in the same kind of way. And that community builds an immense sense of possibilities and aspirations. And that's a very different than I'm wandering and I'm not sure and I'm going to figure it out over 4 years. What we say is, if you have those aspirations and you want to do something great, you'll figure it out here and we'll help you figure it out for the rest of your life. And this community will support you in those ways. That's very unique in higher education.
I see. I have a question. Like, what would you say to people that may not have a business yet or feel like they need to? Like, what would you say to them in the sense that Babson isn't just a place where you need to have a business? And
and I would even say 99% of our students, maybe slightly less, 95% of our students don't have a business in their head. What they have is ambition and a desire to create value, and they see the world as a place that needs leadership and needs them to be a part of it, and that they can play a role and they can change lives, and they can, and maybe they can get rich doing it, and that's okay. That's more than okay. I want you to get rich.
What would be your definition of success?
For me, it is clearly that I keep my promises. And then I'm successful. So, make promises to the organizations and the people and the communities you're engaged in, and then keep your promise. And when you don't keep your promise, it's because you died trying. That you gave it 100%. You can't win every game. But you can promise to try as hard as you can to give 100%, and eventually you'll win a lot. And I think that's, for me, that's the only really important characteristic you have to have. That includes you have to have integrity, because I make a promise and I admit I made the promise and I keep it, and then I say, I didn't keep it for the following reasons. I failed for some reason, and being honest about that. And sometimes that honesty is I got tired or I wasn't capable and I thought I was, but I wasn't. And that kind of honesty, I think, builds relationships over a long term.
I see. Yeah, so often it can feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I haven't achieved what other people have achieved. So like there's no definition of success. It can be so easy to fall into that, especially at a place like Babson. But
that's right. Don't let that happen. It's a long life, and it is mostly in playing the game that you get the great satisfaction. I tell people, when I was teaching, I told people this all the time. The day you die, on the day we all die, our net worth goes back to zero. You can't take it with you. So how did you play the game? How did you do the journey?
Do you have any next upcoming goals? Anything you want to achieve? I know there's like...
I want Babson to be a global phenomenon through networks, through partnerships. We have incredible research partnerships. We have curricular partnerships. We have programmatic partnerships. I think we could impact 1 million more people if we scale Babson in the right kinds of ways. And it doesn't mean that we're going to bring 1 million people on campus. That'd be silly. But there's so many ways that we can impact people's learning through podcasts, through books, through conferences, through asynchronous delivery of education. I think the golden age of education is upon us, and Babson has a rightful place there.
What was your biggest success in your career, in your life, that you were like the most proud of?
Probably my marriage. I don't mean to be maudlin, but I've been married for almost 100 years now.
Wow.
Or probably feels that way for her. I've been married for 47 years. How many people do you know that have been married that only once and for 47 years? Almost.
Not
a lot.
Not a lot,
I'm very proud of that. And we have a terrific relationship, as good or better today than it was the day we got married.
What are some of those hardships, and how do you get over them?
What are hardships? I don't know. We loved each other forever.
Yeah.
Everything else is easy.
That's like, I guess that ties into having like a really strong support crew.
It is. Emotional support, intellectual. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's a very talented musician. She's a great mother.
Yeah.
What more do you need? That's the best partner in the world. And having a great partner, I think, does take work and commitment and all of that. But it is, boy, what a support system that becomes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a relationship right now. I was going to go into that, how important like a partner is in your success. But do you have any advice for anybody in a relationship out there or myself?
Well, I'm always leery of people that give other people advice about relationships because they're so particular.
Yeah, of course.
It's
always different for one person than the other.
It really is. Where you come from, how you think about things. I suppose the only advice I would give is to communicate.
Gotcha.
And you could communicate to the point where you say, okay, maybe this isn't working. But if you don't communicate, it probably won't work.
Yeah, I gotcha. My next question would be following along the lines of the sense of communication. When do you draw the line? When do you realize and give up on an idea because, oh, it's not going to work out? And then where do you quantify? Do you have like a certain metric, or is that a feeling? Where do you draw the line to know, no, let's not go further with this idea?
It's interesting. I don't know that I've ever been asked that question. And I'm pretty sure I don't have a good answer for it. Most people stop when they run out of money or when there is a clear market signal, through policy or competitors or suppliers or something. So it's either running out of money or a clear market signal. But I don't know that I don't think I have a good answer to that. It's I may ask 4 or 5 people I respect a lot to answer that question.
Yeah, it's fair. I guess that kind of ties into it. You know when you're not knowledgeable enough to speak on something.
Go find somebody better.
Yeah, gotcha. Do you know anything about the ranking? Because that was something that when I searched it up about Babson, that's the first thing that kind of like caught my eye.
We're very proud of the rankings, and probably most proud of the Wall Street Journal because it's as a college, not just within a discipline. And I love it, but it is a secondary issue compared to the relationship we have with individual students and with the alums. Our job again is to make a promise and to keep the promise. If we do that, the rankings will come and they'll go up and they'll go down, but they don't dictate life. Yeah. And you got to stay really true to what the value proposition is. If you do that,
it'll come back. Yeah.
Or not, but your customers will be happy and supportive, and you'll be fine.
Nice.
The person I have to please are our students and alums.
Yeah.
And after that, I hope other people are happy with Babson, but it's less important to me.
Gotcha. Any other words of wisdom for students out there watching this video?
Have fun. Enjoy this whole experience. Make great friends. Fall in love with somebody. Do great things.
Yeah. Dang. Alrighty. I think we're wrapping it up pretty much so far. How was your experience today in the chair?
I had a terrific time talking with you. You're easy to talk to. You were well prepared. You're an interesting guy. You're fun to be around. It is a little weird getting a haircut from someone you've never had a haircut from before, and not having a mirror.
I know.
So it is a little bit weird, I will admit. So I'm not sure what I'm going to see at the end of this.
Hopefully,
it won't make that big a difference.
Let's get you dusted off. Alrighty, thank you so much.
All right, this is the big reveal.
Yeah.
Is this part of your shtick where you don't show them and then at the end you show them the haircut?
No, I usually have a mirror and we do the reaction in there. But let's see.
Well, you know what? I tell you, you're exactly right. I do like it, and it feels more comfortable, and I think it's more. I just thought it felt really short.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But it feels really comfortable.
Yeah, nice and tight on the sides.
I'm a little surprised how much
Really?
I like it. Yeah, I don't know. But listen, you're a great guy. You're really smart. I don't know if you're a good barber. Now I do.
There it is.
I love you, man.
Thank you, bro. Hey, anytime you need a haircut, you're feeling it,
I
let me
gotta
know.
tell you, both Jiffy Lube and Planet are franchises.
Yeah.
You do wonder, is there a franchise angle to this?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Chair Podcast. Hopefully we got President Spinelli a little cleaned up.
I got to tell you, I've never felt better. It was an incredible conversation. I cannot be more proud of this Babson Beaver.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Chair Podcast. And I just want to say thank you to President Spinelli. Let's go.